Hello, good morning. Today we shall see the rotor economics. Before we study rotor spinning, let us see why rotor spinning is so attractive as compared to ring spinning. One of the first reasons is that it has got a very high production level when you compare it with ring spinning. The process of roving production as well as the process of winding, both are eliminated, so you have a lot of savings here. The operator functions like can and final package transport on a rotor spinning machine is easily automated, and since automation is there, a lot of operator functions are reduced, and you can reduce a lot of requirement of labor on the shop floor, again leading to savings. Rotor spun yarns are already dominating in woven denims and knitted fabric production, so both these areas are captured by rotor spun yarns. The four stages of yarn formation, the four stages that we know of, that is liver opening, yarn formation, twisting and winding. These are the four operations that are required in any open end spinning process. So all these four operations are separate, and there are advantages of having them separated. So let us see. Technological potential. Rotor speeds can go up to 1,70,000 RPM, and also it produces 5 to 10 times that of a ring spinning spindle. The count ranges of course are in the range of 6 to 40s. As you can see from the graph here, dominating count number is 30 here. Majority of the yarns are spun in the of 30s. Although cotton is generally spun, all staple fibers in pure form or in blends can be spun, with the possibility that one can even spin mill waste, which was not possible, or is rather not possible on most of the other spinning processes, especially not ring frame. Stable spinning with consistent quality is what you can expect out of rotor spinning. There are no special demands on the atmospheric conditions like air conditioning, humidity, temperature, and also no requirement in terms of preparatory process. So when there are no special demands, there is a lot of savings again. Relatively simple spinning elements are used. The rotor spun has a wide range of applications, and this is a chart showing the amount of production that goes into these applications: upholstery, denim, trousers, terry towels, home textiles, shirting, underwears, and so on. So this is the breakup of what kind of production levels are captured by rotor spun yarns in these various application areas. So let us see the economic potential in countries with high wage levels, where there are the operators need to be paid highly. In such countries, the rotor spinning is more economical than ring spinning for yarns even up to 60s NE. This we shall study in a little bit detail later on. The next point is that elimination of process stages saves a lot of saving in terms of direct labor costs. Also, machine efficiencies of 99% can be achieved due to non-stop running, because there's hardly any stoppages or end breakages here. And also, since the automatic can transfers and yarn package transports are available, so again there is no need for any kind of machine stoppages, so they can almost run at 99%. So therefore what we can produce is long lengths of faultless yarns, which also help in the downstream processes like weaving and knitting, where you would find there are fewer stoppages. So there are savings again on the downstream processes like weaving and knitting. It is environment friendly because it is dust and noise free, um, and although it produces at a very high level, still it is dust and noise free, so it's an advantage over other spinning processes. So let us look at how it is economically helpful to us when you compare it with ring spinning. So there are some charts which will be coming up. So before we go into that, let us understand the economics of a spinning process. There are three major cost blocks here. The first one being the capital cost and the interest that you incur on the machine. Then there is direct labor cost, the cost that would be incurred by way of operators required on the shop floor for running this machine, and also the energy cost, the amount of energy consumption that this machine will have for the manufacture of 1 kg of yarn. So these are the three major cost blocks on which the cost of manufacturing cost of 1 kg of yarn depends. So in order to compare the manufacturing cost of producing 1 kg of yarn are considered. So this is one chart which is there, where they have done some comparisons on cost of waste, labor cost, energy cost, cost of auxiliary devices or material, and capital cost. It is a comparison between ring spun yarn, the cost breakup here, and rotor yarn. So, and this is meant for countries where there is a low wage cost that is involved. So in rotor spinning, the capital costs are highest, followed by energy cost. So when you look at this chart, the capital costs are the highest. When you compare in this column here, what you see is yellow is marked by capital cost. You see it takes a large proportion here. So this is the highest, which is followed by the next large cost chunk is the energy cost, and then what you see is the labor cost, which is there in yellow over here. It's a very small cost that is there. So the large cost incurred would be on the capital cost. That means on the machine itself, then energy, then it is followed by the labor cost. Labor costs are the lowest. In ring spinning, when you see the same thing, you see capital costs are the highest when you look at this column, which is followed by energy, and then labor costs. They are the lowest. So in a low wage country, this is the scenario where you see that the highest cost incurred by both these spinning systems, whether it is ring or rotor, you see that the highest cost incurred is on capital cost, followed by energy, and then labor, which is very low. Now let us go ahead and see as one goes towards spinning of finer counts. Now this is meant for counts between 8 and 34 here. So when you go finer, then what do we see? What is the scenario like? So when you come here, it is seen that the ring spinning here has got an advantage of proportionate reduction of some costs for 1 kg yarn, but still it will be higher as compared to rotor. There is some reduction, proportionate reduction here, maybe in capital, some here in energy as well as labor. Comparative, proportionate increase is not seen here, whereas there is some increase in this case in rotor, but still when you compare both of them, rotor costs are still low. Now let us look at the scenario in high wage countries. When you so here the first chart shows about ring yarn, second is rotor, and these both are for counts between 8 and 34, whereas the one here is shown for 34's knitted yarn. So let us compare them. In rotor spinning, the capital costs are the highest. So when you and followed by labor and then by energy cost. In case of high wage levels, now you can see that these two factors, labor and energy, have switched places. Now labor will take away major chunk of the cost and then followed by energy. So let us look over here how it works. So now you can see this labor, this yellow region has increased in its width, in its length here. So capital followed by labor and then by energy, which is this. For finer counts in rotor spinning, the labor costs are reduced. When you compare this with this, you see that as you go finer, the labor costs have reduced here. You can see here very clearly this width has reduced, and labor costs is in this. There's a reason for this, because they will be reduced to transportation as soon as you go from coarse count to fine count. The frequency of manual and manual can change as well as package transports would be reduced, and that is why the labor costs are reduced drastically. Therefore, in conclusion, rotor spinning offers a lower manufacturing cost in high wage countries when compared with ring spinning. So anyways, whenever you compare it with ring spinning, what you see here is it is any time it is lower, total manufacturing cost is lower than that of ring spinning. So when you summarize the economics of rotor spinning, these are a few points which would get highlighted. So from the discussion, it is observed that the manufacturing cost for 1 kg of yarn is higher than that for ring spinning when compared with rotor for spinning of all counts, whether it is coarse or whether it is fine. For low wage countries, the labor costs are almost the same for both coarse as well as fine counts, which you can see here. When you see, look at the low wage countries, whether it is fine or coarse or whichever kind of yarn you're spinning, you see that in a low wage country, it doesn't matter. All the costs in case of whether it is ring or rotor, it is almost the same. But in high wage countries, there is a scope for further reduction in labor costs for fine counts as compared to ring spinning. It means that, but when we come to a high wage country, what you see is this is the labor cost for ring spinning for coarse counts, and this is the cost for labor on rotor spinning. You can see that there is a huge difference. It is much lower here. Even for finer counts, when you see finer 34's knitted yarn, what you see here is, here also it's the same scene. The labor cost has drastically reduced in case of high wage countries as compared to ring spinning. This probably happens because one of the reasons is that there can be a lot of automation in case of rotor spinning. So that's why a lot of labor charges or costs can be saved when it comes to high wage level countries. Also, one thing we must keep in mind that in rotor spinning there is a slight disadvantage that the cost of spare parts is very high when you compare it with ring spinning. Although savings are there in space requirement, the floor space requirement in case of rotor spinning is much lower as compared to ring spinning for the same amount of production. So space requirement would be less, and which would be an advantage, but spare parts cost is very high. So thank you very much. This was about economics and why rotor spinning is much more attractive when it comes when you compare it with ring spinning. So keeping this in mind, we will go ahead in the next lecture about the working of the rotor spinning, how it works, the passage and so on. So thank you. That's it for today.